Hey, it's your host, Brittany, and welcome to the Mom Sweat Sanity podcast, where we talk all things life, health, fitness, kids, relationships, you name it, nothing is off the table. A little bit of just me and a whole lot of knowledgeable guests. So throw on your Lulus to run or to mom, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and join us as we unpack life's pressing topics and learn a little bit more of the who, what, whys of it all. Or at the very least, get real, share some wisdom, and grab practical tips to help in our daily lives.
Yeah, the community aspect is really special, right? Especially if they're dealing with bullies or frenemies at school. Like we have our school community, we have our family community, but to go, somewhere else, which is often like sport or some other club or something where there's mentorship and people that are a little bit different than you, but also believe in values and understand themselves and are doing the work. It's really cool to see when kids like connect and they're like, oh my gosh, you deal with that too. And you're like an adult.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. Today I sat down with Ashley Wiles. You can find her over on Instagram at Eva Runs. We talked all things Soul Girls, Live Feisty Media, Stacey Sims. But today we really dove into all things Soul Girls and what Soul Girls is all about, where it originated from concept through to how it plays a role in the life of girls from as young as 5 and up, and finding that sweet spot in conversation surrounding mental health and wellness, anxiety, and also moving their body and running a 5K at the end. Tune in today. So thank you, Ashley, for being here today. I really appreciate it. I would love to get to know a little bit of who you are. You seem a bit of the jack of all trades, from triathlon, Live Feisty, Soul Girls, Stacey Sims. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All of those things. Where do we even start? I don't even know. So I've been an entrepreneur probably ever since I can remember. I tried the corporate thing in university and it just didn't really work for me. I think 2008, when the economy crashed, I really realized that everything was fleeting and you can choose what you do with your time. And sitting in an office in an environment like that was not for me. So I've pretty much been, I wouldn't say nomadic, but on the road, traveling the world and doing cool things since then. And finally kind of settled down here. But yeah, I have 3 businesses, I guess, that I run all remotely now. Yeah, I don't know where you want to dig into.
Wow. So yeah, remotely. I mean, were those all somewhat remote in the beginning, or have you really had to adapt through this pandemic to turn everything on to remote learning?
Yeah. So Soul Girls is my baby. That's where it kind of all started. And I got all my kind of social media and marketing skills and the hustle of just showing up every day and learning how to dig in to a passion project where you don't make very much money, but you really believe in it and it helps a lot of people. So I started that in 2013, just after a girl, you're from Vancouver, so a girl there died by suicide. Her name was Amanda Todd. And that kind of fueled part of my passion of we need more tools for girls, and has kind of set me up on this journey of helping women thrive and through mental health challenges and just being ourselves and giving ourselves permission to be, do, and have whatever it is that we want. But I think it starts with our childhood. And so many of us forget, what it's like to be 8. And especially I think being a parent, it's really hard to really understand what your kid's going through now as you have your own challenges, right? So I'm not there yet, but I will get there. So yeah, that's where this entrepreneurship journey started with Soul Girls. And then I started volunteering with what was Iron Women podcast with Sarah Gross. It turned into Live Feisty. And now we co-own the business and we run events and media marketing for triathlon and lots of different sports and basically just women in sport in general. And then I met Dr. Stacey Sims and built a business for her. So I run her business as well.
Oh my gosh, you are so busy. Live Feisty, though. I love the work that you are doing there also. And then back to Soul Girls as well. Just how through all of those, you have flowed through female empowerment and the women supporting women. And I think with Soul Girls, being able to start that at such a young age is so important. So wow, like amazing work that you've done. Congratulations. I'm really excited to hear more about the Soul Girls also, because I have, as I've said, in Vancouver, I have 2 girls, and seeing the posters, and occasionally they're offered through our school systems. I would love to get to know a little bit more about what Soul Girls is all about.
Yeah. So, I mean, Soul Girls, we've really kind of pivoted this past year during COVID. I'm happy to tell you what it's all about and that. But right now, we're not running any programs in the Lower Mainland just because everything's a little bit more challenging now. And I'm pregnant. So there's that. And I moved to the interior now. So, but we have lots of coaches that do run programs there. And we run programs in Calgary, but they're also on hold right at this moment because of the restrictions. So, yeah, essentially, Soul Girls is an 8-week program that focuses on girls' mental and physical well-being so they can have some place that's safe to talk about friendships and frenemies and anxiety and everything that kind of comes up. And so every week is kind of a curriculum, but it's paired with physical activity. So they're training to run a 5-kilometer fun run at the end, because I think goals are really important as well. And sometimes when we have physical goals, they really help us kind of propel us forward to actually achieving them. And so at the end of the 8-week program, they run a 5K, which for an 8-year-old or a 5-year-old is a really, really big deal. It's a big deal for often like even parents. Yeah. I often get parents calling me and saying, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can run 5K. And I'm like, you can do it. And their girls are there cheering them on. And then we started a boys program called Soul for Boys too. And then we started a littles program. So it was Soul Girls for 5 to 8-year-olds too. So because everybody's dealing with different things and the girl world is hard and challenging. And so we really wanted to give girls tools and mentors to be able to connect people so that when they get to the harder situations later on, they have community and support.
I think, and so importantly, the ability to distinguish what anxiety is or what those feelings are inside of them so that they have those tools so much younger so that it's not this huge thing that compiles over all those years. That's amazing to be able to have that at such a young age. I wish we all could have.
Yeah, truly.
Oh, where did your concept for this come from?
That's a good question. There's a program in the States called Girls on the Run, and they are like a nationwide charity that has been running since 1994. And they do such a great job of really connecting girls with women and mentorship and run kind of a very similar program. But it wasn't available in Canada. And I also believe that women should make money when they run businesses and work hard. So Girls on the Run is completely charity focused and I'm more business focused. So I do think that work deserves to get paid for, especially when women are doing it. So
totally. Yeah, I totally agree. I recently read something about putting your value onto things. And not only does that call you to action to level up a little bit more too, but it also shows people that there is something here of value. And yeah, I completely agree with you putting that out there. So when you are addressing things through Soul Girls also, I'm going on to the girls topic. Boys deal with body image and all that kind of stuff as well. But do you find that this is a topic that comes up from such a young age in these kids and promoting the healthy avenue that you do, as you say, offering like the 5K run and that physical development also? Does body image play an image in their worry at such a young age?
100% perception, right? And if we think about like when we were kids, we had the same problems. Like I was terrified of my thighs, just thinking, how come my thighs don't look like my girlfriend's thighs? She's a dancer, I'm a soccer player. How come our bodies don't look the same? It's really hard to understand, why one is better than the other or why you don't look like somebody else. Even my mother has really skinny legs and I was always like, I don't even fit your clothes. And that really worried me. And so when we think about girls these days, it's really not that different. They still have the exact same worries. It's just escalated, right? With the social media and photoshopping. Like there's just more now than there was when we were kids. And we think like, well, we try to protect our kids and make sure that they don't see these kinds of things. But even videos they're watching on YouTube and movies and billboards, we see hundreds of advertisements a day without even trying.
Yeah.
And they're all subject to some sort of filters, pretty much, right? So we don't really know what we see is real. So absolutely, body image plays a huge role. And it could be anything. It can be a nose or an arm or an eyebrow, like something we just dial into. And that becomes the most important thing that we need to fix or change or have different in some way, which is challenging, right? But not really that abnormal. We all have it, even as adults.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Being able to have a safe place for kids to develop at such a young age, I think it only houses a positive thing in the end for them to have those relationships with themselves also, but also in a community that you're building and have built through Soul Girls of like-minded people that are working on things internally, and they kind of maybe don't always know that at the same time. And then training just to be able to speak, run, do a whole bunch of things all at the same time. Me personally through sport, probably you as well, being out there and just meeting new people, establishing new relationships, you find so many different commonalities through sport. And then being able to feel that mental health and wellness through that physical aspect and avenue also is such an inspiring and positive place to be. And so to be able to bring that to young kids is so amazing.
Yeah, the community aspect is really special, right? Especially if they're dealing with bullies or frenemies at school. Like we have our school community, we have our family community, but to go, somewhere else, which is often like sport or some other club or something where there's mentorship and people that are a little bit different than you, but also believe in values and understand themselves and are doing the work. It's really cool to see when kids like connect and they're like, oh my gosh, you deal with that too. And you're like an adult. And that's really neat just to kind of see those aha moments and the light bulbs, because so often we just isolate ourselves, right? And think, oh my God, I'm the only one. And yeah, sport is a really special place for that, because at Soul Girls, we promote the philosophy that like your happy pace is whatever pace feels good for your body. And there is no fast or slow, or there's really just you and your body and what feels good. And that's a concept that has really helped people be like, okay, well, if I'm not a runner, I put that in, I guess this won't be a video, but yeah. Air quotes. Yeah. You don't identify with the word runner because you see an image of a runner wearing, I don't know, spandex or short shorts and looking super thin. And you're like, well, that's not me. So I'm not a runner, or I don't run every day. So I'm not a runner. It's just a label, right? That somebody's decided that's not necessarily true. So when we give people especially kids, the opportunity to say, you can be whatever it is that you want to be. And if you enjoy going your happy pace, and that looks like hopping, skipping, jumping, running, whatever it is, like that's you, and that's all good. And you're welcome here.
Own the you. Just do what you need to do. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. I think if we all just lived a little bit more like that, everyone would be so much happier.
Totally. It's not easy to do, but kids before the age of 8 is when they really develop those neural pathways that are going to determine like their values and how they think and react and act for the rest of their lives. They've kind of already decided by the time they're 8 years old who they are. I'm a fill in the blank, a dancer, a runner, a girl, a whatever. And that's a really important thing to know. But there's a really sweet spot between the ages of 8 and 12 where, given mentorship and community, those things can change and we can shift how we think and what actually is real for us.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. It's the people that you surround yourself with and the learning environments that can help alter that. I think that's so positive and inspiring for kids, especially in this day of social media. And as you said, all the ads that we consume, not even trying. And that's just a scary place to sit as a parent so often too. And how you edit those for your kids, but allow them to see also enough real to realize what is real and what is fake and what they want to be personally inside as well. Mm-hmm. So what are you hoping next from Soul Girls then, as you're on a bit of a hiatus for COVID and for your own pregnancy? What do you see next out of Soul Girls and Boys?
Good question. So a couple of years ago, I wrote a book called A Girl's Guide to Finding Her Happy Pace, and it's a graphic novel. And That's been going super well. It's a really simple, easy read for kids, not just girls, but for kids to read, to absorb some of the concepts. Mm-hmm. And I think also for parents, right, to have a different perspective on what the girl world is really like. And so that's kind of the tool that I've put out into the world to say, okay, we're on hiatus, but this is something that I can provide of value. And that's going really well. I think a lot of people are really positive and really stoked about that. I mean, the goal always is to create more community for girls. And that changes as I change because it is really my business. I kind of think of business as kind of like a child, right? Like you grow it to a certain point and then it goes off to kindergarten and then it kind of grows itself.
I like that analogy.
Before you know it, it's kind of its own thing. And so I don't know where it will go in the future, but my hope is that if there's women out there that want to spread community and really have these conversations with girls, then they have the opportunity to do it. So we actually franchised the program so that women, wherever they are, can run the programs and have the curriculum. So we have the one in Calgary and then we have some other ones too.
That's really exciting. And then as you grow, you have Live Feisty. So tell us a little bit about Live Feisty.
Yeah. So I partnered with Sarah Gross in the creation of Live Feisty. And originally, her goal was to create a media company for triathlon that really focused on women's media. And as we've grown over the past couple of years, I think the narrative in triathlon is changing. And now we've kind of gone on to events and women's leadership and coaching and kind of larger scale. How do we really change the narrative, not just in triathlon, but for women in sport all around? So that's pretty cool. And on that side, I do a lot of what we call like the feisty agency stuff, which is we take on clients to do social media, marketing, and digital media. So building courses and memberships for different things. So right now we're building kind of a space for menopause and women who are going through menopause and they're active and need resources and community and information because there just really isn't any out there. And then of course I work with Dr. Stacey Sims and some other clients as well to build their communities online. I think of myself more as like a hype girl. I'm every girl's hype girl. So, if you have a goal or a dream or something you want to do or get done, I will be in your corner just like stoked for your success. And that's what I get jazzed on. If there was an event to go to that there is not in Canada right now, but I'm the girl on the side. If I'm not running it or racing it, then I'm the girl on the sidelines with the pom-poms and the bright colors and making sure that like you feel supported. That's kind of who I am, both in business as well as I think in life. So I think of my role in Soul Girls as that, right? Like my goal is to not empower people, but help people find that confidence within them to do the things they do. Even with Stacey, she's so smart and so intelligent, but getting a business off the ground and really just saying, okay, I'm going to plaster my name all over the internet and become the leader and stuff is hard, even for somebody who's so incredible. So I'm the same thing. I'm her hype girl that says, you can do this and you can charge money for it. And that's okay.
And I think we all have our own tools and it's so important to know which ones they are. And then when we need to find our hype girl or find the Dr. Stacey on the other side of things, right? So to be able to source that out and find other women in community to help us along the way also, all the better and all the power. So wow, you're a fantastic hype girl and you're doing some awesome work out there.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
So in terms of your dreams and goals, I know that on the moment, they might be a little bit different, but do you have any athletic hopes for postpartum?
Oh man, pregnancy is a trip. That's like a whole other podcast we could talk about, but yeah, to go from just the transformation of your body, it's fascinating and overwhelming, and not just body and mind, I would say. And yeah, the hype has not been there for sure. So
yeah, you're hype girl for this.
I know. Yeah, I've really searched for community to just like have my people in my corner. And so postpartum, gosh, I think about this like a launch. I'm launching a couple things in the next couple of months. One of those things is a baby.
Very important.
Yeah. And I honestly have no idea what to expect. Like I look at pictures of myself pre-pregnancy and I'm like, oh gosh, I have a lot of work to do to get back there. But I'm really trying not to think about it as like getting back somewhere so much as just taking it as it comes. And I have no idea. I mean, from Ironman, Ultra Woman, last year at this time, I was going to do Ultraman here in Penticton.
Were you? Oh, wow.
And it got canceled because of COVID. So we've come like in a totally different direction. Yeah. So probably simple question, but I have no answer.
No. And in all of your busyness, do you have a routine that you seem to stick to, or do you have a morning routine, something that is just your own?
You know, it's so funny that you say that because I am the most spontaneous person you'll probably ever meet. Every day is different and I try and keep it exciting. However, my partner is like 100% routine. And since he moved in, we are on a routine and I find it fascinating. Like every day is the same thing. And I try and throw like my spontaneity in. But anyway, so my time is generally early in the morning. I like working from my bed, which is maybe kind of random, but nobody bothers me. And I can just get up and take it super slow in the morning. And I really, really, really enjoy that. That's probably the thing I do most consistently. And that might not be for everybody, but I get the basics done that I need in the morning. And then I kind of have the rest of the day to do the less important things. Or
find the spontaneity.
Yeah. It often depends on the weather. I'm from Vancouver too. Like you never really know what the day's going to throw your way.
No.
And a beautiful day in Vancouver means you need to go outside, right? But here in Penticton, it's like often quite nice. Every day is a sunny day in the summer. So you have a lot more choices.
So where can we find you? Follow along, socials, TikTok, all the goods.
On all of the socials, I'm Eva Runs, EVARUNS. Soul Girls is soul like the bottom of your foot, SOLE_girls. And Live Feisty at Live Feisty Media. That's kind of all in the socials. And that's kind of mainly where you'll find me. I do get to co-host Stacey Sims courses. So you'll find me there too. And kind of on all the back end media marketing there too.
There's some good ones coming up this fall, it sounds like too. So
yeah.
Busy.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff. And where else will you find me? You know what? I'm so happy to answer people's DMs and questions and whatever. Like I said, I'm pretty much on the social all the time. So yeah,
awesome.
Happy to connect.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation. We have linked all things Ashley Wiles in the show notes. What an amazing human being. It was so great to get to know her a little bit more. So easy to talk to and always there for communication and connection. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to share it. See you next week. You can find me on Instagram at Mom Sweat Ceremony.